The problem is that Darvin Ham started fucking Taurean Prince for almost 50 games. Like, it is ridiculous when you look at Rui Hachimura as a starter. The Lakers are 21-11 this year when Rui is a starter. With Austin Reeves and him in the lineup as the starters, we have a 67% win rate. If you look at the win rates for the rest of the Western Conference, that puts us at the number 4 seed if we were to if that was our actual record at a 67% rate. It's very easy to say that with a better coach, we would have been in the top 5. Not call whatever you want, things can happen, you can go on runs, things like that or whatever, but it would have been very easy for us to be in the top 5.
All About the Balls podcast with Mark Davis, Jake Winnikine, and Alan Tomasella. This is the hottest sports podcast show on the internet right now. That's right. This is All About the Balls podcast. I'm Mark Davis, and I'm joined alongside Jake Winnikine and Alan Tomasella, and this is our weekly NBA and basketball talk because we will have some Bronny James Jr. to talk about tonight. But before we do that, Jake, how are you doing tonight on this beautiful Wednesday night?
Oh, great as always. Looking forward to NBA playoffs coming up. My Warriors should be knocking out the Lakers soon.
And then speaking of the Lakers, that's Alan's team. Alan, how are you doing this Wednesday night?
Man, I'm fucking fantastic, bro. I PR'd the other day. We had the live chat, man. I love that. It was a great show. Shout out to all the boys that showed up for that, and shout out to Chrissy wasn't able to make it, man. But I just know it would have been even liver when he was in there, man. But I had a fantastic time. It was great. Other than that, man, just getting ready, doing jumping through hoops for medical, for military. You know how that fucking works.
I do know how that feels, and I'm doing great too. And like you said, we're gonna have all 6 of us there for our mock draft. That'll be the first time we're all live together, and that will tie into the actual NFL draft. But no, I'm doing great. Like Jake said, this is the last week of the regular season, and Sunday playoffs start next week. It's one of the more exciting playoffs we get every single year. So playing will be next week, I believe, on the 17th of April, so a week from today actually. And unfortunately, Yankees are struggling. But hey, first team to 10 wins, you're gonna lose some here and there, but we've won all our series, so I'm excited for that. That's my little baseball plug tomorrow. But let's before we jump into it as well, Twitter and Instagram at the Sack House, All About the Balls podcast as well as the name, and you can go on TikTok at _Sack House and All About the Balls podcast. If you're listening on Spotify, Apple, and iHeart, just know though we have some socials there too for you. You YouTube viewers, thank you as well. But boys, we have a pretty big episode. We have the Western Conference play-in teams. There's 5 teams that are playing for that 6 seed. We can kind of say, I know Alan can like to say, but the Lakers are probably out of that spot. So maybe 4 that can maybe get the 6 seed. Realistically, we're going to talk Giannis's injury, his calf strain. We're going to talk Bronny James Jr., Joel Embiid in the Sixers, and who should the MVP be with, like I said, just 3 games left. So, boys, let's talk about it. The Western Conference playing teams, it's coming down to the wire. You have literally 5 teams that are within 3 games of each other. I know the Warriors at the 10 spot, Jake, they need a lot to happen. But that's being held right now by the Pelicans, followed by the Suns, the Kings, the Lakers, and then the Warriors. So who's going to get that 6th seed, do you think?
Man. Honestly, I mean, obviously I'm going to sound biased. Here we are. I'm going to go Warriors. Warriors got the easy schedule left. Pelicans play the Suns and the Kings. Like those 3 could all split. They could all, do whatever.
The Pelicans play the Lakers and
They
just played the Suns.
They play the Kings. I'm saying the Kings, Pelicans and Suns play, and the Pelicans they all play each other. Like, I mean, I can see.
Man, that's a steep drop. I mean, Suns and Pelicans both have to lose out.
Yeah. For sure.
It's possible.
But,
it's possible.
Kings beat the Pelicans, right? Are we in agreement on that?
I mean, it can happen.
Man, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, they're like they're like 50-50 there. I mean, in my opinion, it's a 50-50 game.
I think Kings beat them. I think Warriors beat the Pelicans.
What about the Lakers?
And And I think Lakers beat the Pelicans. I think Pelicans lose out.
All right, so then you have the Suns who play the Clippers actually they're on the road at the Clippers, at the Kings, at the Timberwolves.
Yep, and they only need if Pelicans lose out, Warriors win out.
See, the thing is, man, you need both the Suns and Pelicans to do that, and the Suns right now only have 33 losses.
Wouldn't you need the Kings to lose too?
Yeah, you need the Kings to lose too. I mean, Lakers, you're gonna have the tiebreaker, I think, on the Lakers. Right now, you're only a half game behind, but
Lakers only have 2 games left.
Yeah. But you're screwed though, Jake, because you need the Kings to lose too, and they play the Suns, who you need to lose out, and then you need the Trailblazers to beat them. So I don't think you can get it with the Kings. I don't think it's possible for you guys to get it because you need all these teams to lose games, but you need the Suns and Pelicans to lose out, really. And the Kings play the Suns and the Pelicans, and you need the Kings to lose 2 games.
Kings need to lose 1. Well, I guess maybe 2.
Because they're up 1 game ahead of you, so I don't know if that's a tiebreaker.
I don't know who has the tiebreaker either.
Well, they're up a game. They're up a game because they have 1 more win and only 1 less loss. So that each one of those count as a half. So that's why they're up 1 game on you. But I don't know who has the tiebreaker between y'all.
No, the Kings have 3 games left, like the Warriors do.
Yeah, I know. But if you look at their stats, the reason why they're up 1 game in the standings is because each game counts as a half a point, like a half a point left.
No, it's true. Like they're a full game ahead. It's like if they lose and then if they lose 1 and the Warriors went out, then they're tied.
Yeah,
so
who has the tiebreaker on that? Yeah,
it must be the Warriors because what I read today was if Pelicans or Suns lose out, Warriors win out, they're in.
But you would need the Trailblazers to beat the Kings.
That's a tough one.
Kings just need to lose 1.
But that'd be the Trailblazers because they have to beat the Suns and the Pelicans.
Exactly. What he's saying is you need the Suns and the Pelicans to both lose, so you need the Blazers to beat the Kings.
And I don't think that's happening. You might get the 7. I mean, you could get the 7, and then then you're essentially in a 1 game. You win 1 game.
I mean, what if Clippers beat the Suns tonight?
Then they would need to lose. Then that means they can beat the Kings, but then you need the Suns to lose the Timberwolves,
which they will.
So those are your scenarios if you want the Kings to come out and they lose 2. I mean, I think y'all can get to the 7 or 8, honestly, and then you win that, and then you're already at the 7 seed, and then you're locked in.
I want out of the play-in.
Well, I think everyone does.
Warriors in a 7-game series obviously is always tough, but a freaking play-in, I think we're gonna lose.
Well, and that question then, real quick, is: are the Golden State Warriors destined to win? This is probably the last time that the Warriors are going to be on this run with the core of Draymond, Steph, and Clay. Are they destined to go out and glory?
I don't think they're doing anything deep in the playoffs, but I mean, it's kind of tough. I think honestly, man, I think the Lakers are shooting for 8. Like they want to be that 9-10 because if you're at 9 and 10, then the only thing you can get is the 8. And I think the Lakers are shooting for the 8 and hoping that the Wolves win tonight, man. It's kind of tough though. I just don't see the Lakers are pissing me off. I don't know what's going on with Darvin Ham. We'll get into that later, man.
Oh, you guys, ticker's already been updated. You might as well. This is all part of the plan. They're part of the plan. You might as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, no. His coaching last year and this year has been the biggest problem with the Lakers. I know what I said at the beginning of the year. This was before we were on the pod and all that stuff before we got it going. But I said the Lakers had the deepest bench in the entire league. We had 10 guys deep that could get 20.
I still think they do, man.
But it's never gonna get old.
The problem is that Darvin Ham started fucking Taurean Prince for almost 50 games. Like it is ridiculous when you look at Rui Hachimura as a starter. The Lakers are 21-11 this year when Rui is a starter. With Austin Reeves and him in the lineup as the starters, we have a 67% win rate. If you look at the win rates for the rest of the Western Conference, that puts us at the number 4 seed. If that was our actual record at a 67% rate, it's very easy to say that with a better coach, we would have been in the top 5. Not call whatever you want. Things can happen. You can go on runs, things like that, or whatever. But it would have been very easy for us to be in the top 5 with AD playing his best basketball in the last, I'm going to say 10 years. You got LeBron James playing astronomically for his age. I mean, guy is averaging 27, 8, and 7 in his he's 39 years old in his 20th year. That has never been seen before. And you just look at how wasted this fucking season is because Darvin Ham can't figure out a damn lineup. We got guys like yesterday. Listen, Max Christie is our best on-ball perimeter defender for statistically against the three-point line this year. You know how many minutes he played last night? Like 5 fucking minutes. And you got guys out there like Cam Reddish and Gabe Vincent and fucking Taurean Prince eating up all the fucking minutes for what? They're not doing anything.
Well,
they 2 points combined.
You know why they're playing them? I sent the messages on Discord to Darvin Ham, and you said they were the deepest bench and they could score 20 on any given day. And I think like, Darvin Ham, he said, fuck it.
He had to give him a chance.
Yeah.
You know what? No, listen, man, this is fucking ridiculous when it comes down to the Lakers. I can't sit here and say that we're trying to sit guys or whatever, but what I would say is this. If we actually started the best lineup that we have this year, if we started that for the entire year, we wouldn't be worried about these fucking games. We could sit guys and have them ready for a deep playoff run. We wouldn't have to be worried about AD taking a game off because he's got a concussion or whatever that they're not saying. He's got a headache. He's had a headache for fucking 3 days. He's had a headache for 3 days. What does that sound like? He got hit in his eye. He sat out for most of that game that LeBron sat down because he was sick. Whatever LeBron's going on, I don't know. But all I'm saying is we could have been in a much better situation if we had actually just started right. And then the other thing is when you look at Darvin Ham as a in-game coach, he can't fucking call a timeout. We literally went on a 7-0 run. We got the game within 7 points. He subs out. This is who he subs out. He subs out Reeves, D'Lo, LeBron, and puts in a lineup that's never played together for 79 games. And the Warriors immediately go on a 12-0 run, take the game, and doesn't call a fucking timeout. But you know who called a timeout after that 7-0 run? Steve Kerr. That everybody was bashing Steve Kerr this year, saying Steve Kerr's not the coach for the future. He can't do this. They wanted his head. But Steve Kerr called that timeout, put Steph right back in the game because he knew how important the game was. And they went out there, they made the run, and look, you sub in Steph and then you sub out your 3 starters? I just can't do it with Darvin Ham anymore, man. Like, yes, I'm a Lakers fan. I'm crazy about it, but I don't give a shit. You can't tell me that when you look at the facts, when you look at the coaching decisions, that you can't make an honest decision that Darvin Ham is the worst coach in the fucking NBA.
Worst coach?
Worst coach in the NBA.
I mean, it could be debated, I guess. I mean, I can't say he's.
I would have to look at every team's coach and break it down.
I'd take Adrian Griffin over Darvin Ham any day, right now.
Well, he's not a coach anymore.
I don't care. Fucking hire his ass. He was 33 and 13.
Did you take
and
Doc?
He still couldn't get those guys. Fuck, I wouldn't take Doc, man. But that's just because it's Doc. That's just because it's fucking Doc.
But is Doc a better coach? But is Doc a better coach?
Yes, he's a better coach than Darvin Ham. Yeah,
okay,
he's a better coach.
Yeah, okay. That's all I was asking.
I mean, I'm with you. He's obviously a terrible coach. He doesn't have the respect to the stars, so he's doomed. He's already doomed. I mean, they check in, check out, they do what they want. So I mean, if LeBron really wanted to be in that game, he would have been in that game at that moment because he's already done it. So I mean, he was either on board. I mean, I'm not no conspiracy theorist, but maybe they wanted to lose that game. Maybe they got a plan with seeding. I have no idea, but yeah, it was some crazy scenarios in that game for sure. That like mind blowing. But it's a whole nutshell with the Lakers. Like, what if LeBron leaves? Like, are they going to be looking for a coach too, or does Darvin Ham stay at that point? Like there's a lot of answers or a lot of questions with the Lakers because we don't know what the offseason holds. I mean,
yeah. Well, listen,
obviously.
You and I both said it earlier. We talked about it. We saw something on X last night where the Lakers should strongly consider
Oh,
trading LeBron James to the Cavaliers. Let LeBron have his farewell tour with the Cavaliers. I mean, I think we all know he deserves to go out with them. Trade him for Donovan Mitchell straight up, like, and I think that is a strong base to build your team around. Donovan Mitchell isn't going to eat up as much salary cap as LeBron James, and I think you can go out and you can add another guy with Donovan Mitchell on the team, and you can really be a competitive team. Do I think that we have a legitimate chance of winning a championship? I mean, if AD plays as good as he has played without LeBron this year, I think that is very possible. But I think that, we don't know what's going to come, but the number one thing that has to happen this offseason, regardless of any situation, is Darvin Ham has to go. He's just got to go.
Yeah, I'm the problem with whoever, especially where LeBron is, and it's not just Darvin Ham thing. It's the coach is always under pressure.
It was Paul Pierce, by the way, that said the
it
trade.
was Paul Pierce. Yeah.
Wow, Paul Pierce actually made sense. Damn, that's crazy. But no, I mean, I think with like LeBron's teams, it doesn't matter. Like wherever he goes, the coach is going to be in the pressure, the spotlight. And I mean, Frank Vogel won a championship and then was gone a year or two later.
Yeah, but
I mean,
listen,
it's just
a COVID championship.
Still
but
it's still a championship.
But remember, before COVID shut the league down, the Lakers were the 1 seed in the West. So they weren't playing bad. They weren't a bad team.
Yeah, and with Frank Vogel, we should have kept him. I'm not going to lie to you guys, but Frank Vogel also had a lot of issues with the offense. So you needed to get an offensive guru to come in and actually run an offense that was going to work. Do I think that Darvin Ham solved that problem? No, because I don't think he's running the offense. And I think that if you were legitimately serious about contending in LeBron's last years, you don't go out and get a rookie head coach. There's so many guys out there that can coach that we had opportunities to get. I know he's blackballed by the league, but we would be much better off right now if we had Mark Jackson as a coach. Like, he's blackballed, but I put him on that team. He's a guy who can bring a championship level effort to a team. And with LeBron James and Anthony Davis and the squad that we got, D'Lo has been balling this year. We would have, I think, been a lot better off. I mean, we could go down a laundry list of coaches that I think we would have been better off with. But at the end of the day, going out and getting a rookie head coach that really didn't have a lot of experience as a coach, as a head coach, obviously, because he was a rookie, but even then, even as a coach in general, like he got lauded for his abilities when the Bucks won their championship. But if we're all being super serious, we know Budenholzer is a fucking great coach. He's been a great coach in this league. He took the Hawks to their best record of all time. He took the Bucks into championship levels. Like, Budenholzer is a guy you could have went out and got as with the Lakers. Like, I just don't understand that, and I don't understand the front office not trying to give Darvin Ham another year when we know what those shortcomings are, and we still haven't seen those shortcomings coming up this year so frequently.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I thought it was a bad hire right off the bat, but I'm not going to go and say wasting, the end of LeBron's career, because there's no way he wasn't on board with the signing of the coach. There's no way that he wasn't consulted. He wasn't on board. There's no way that he didn't agree. So he 100% was on board with that coach. So it wasn't like they just went and signed some rookie and said, "Hey, this is your coach." I guarantee he was in the process. If it might even been him that hired him. I mean, let's be honest. It was maybe it was his decision. No, for real. Like, I'm not.
I'm laughing because it's true. Because like he's done it wherever. Like, well, he's done it since he came back to Cleveland. He didn't do it in Miami. Yeah. He didn't do it the first time in Cleveland. But
there's no way he wasn't on that process. So we're not blaming the Lakers for wasting the end of his career, because he was probably on board for that for sure. If LeBron stays, is he gone? Absolutely, 100%.
Well, that's going to depend on what we're going to talk about in a little bit with his son, but we'll talk about that in a little bit.
But I'm saying if next year he's on the roster, then yes, I think.
Well, let's circle back though to the who gets that 6th seed. I think it's going to be the Suns. I think the Suns are going to get it. I think it's going to be Phoenix. I can see Golden State, Jake, honestly slipping to or getting up to the 7 or 8. Or 7 or 8, but I think the Suns will get the 6th seed. They'll avoid the play-in. I think you guys will get the 7-8 game. Hopefully you win that. Then you don't have to worry about playing in the
avoid the Lakers.
or the Kings or the Pelicans. I mean, it just depends on
I'd rather play those two than the Lakers. I'm not saying Lakers are good. I'm not saying Lakers are good,
but it's playoff LeBron though.
Bend us over.
Playoff LeBron and playoff AD are a different force.
That's MVP Davis.
It is MVP Davis.
Yeah.
Well, his year of MVP, but won't be MVP. But yeah,
no, correct. Yes, but yes, I mean, I would rather play the Kings. Obviously, familiar with them, but
I think that it's going to end up being the Suns. I mean, after an absolutely atrocious outing last night, I think that the Suns can rally to just go ahead and finish off these last couple of games. They've got the stars, they've got the players. I think that they have the opportunity to do it. And as flat and as horrible as they came out and played last night, I think that it is time you make that decision.
They got the hardest schedule left, though. 3 playoff teams.
Man, they do, but I think that they have the guys that can carry them to at least one more win. I mean, what we're talking about, they need the Pelicans to lose, and they just need to win 2 more games out of those 3, and they're playing against
Timberwolves.
Yeah, but they should be fine. Remember, y'all were stroking KD last week. Talking about how phenomenal he is at this time of the year. So,
once the Timberwolves win tonight, are they going to sit a guy?
I know. I was wondering that too. If the Timberwolves somehow clinch before that 3rd game,
or even if they lose, because they're going to be a game out with 2 games left to go. And because if they lose, I don't know how that tiebreaker flips, because the tiebreaker at the moment is the Timberwolves over the Nuggets. But if the Nuggets win and they tie, then who is the tiebreaker? Because
I don't know. They might play, because Cat's got to get minutes. They're going to have to gel with Cat again.
They got to get him in there.
Cat's going to have to play.
But you can give Cat minutes in the playoffs easy against one of these, like the 7 or 8 seed, whoever they get to.
Yeah, I mean, but we're talking about it right now. Like we were talking about it the last episode, that we think that the Timberwolves are susceptible to getting beat in the first round by whoever plays in that 8.
They're too big. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and
true.
Gobert is a guy who gets erased in the playoffs, and playing against the Golden State Warriors in the first round, I think that's the worst case scenario for the Wolves. I think the Wolves would probably have a better chance beating the Lakers than the Warriors, because the Warriors shoot the ball so well. They're
the whole
great
team. They're small. Yeah,
but the Warriors might struggle on the defensive side as well when it comes to
but they're gonna eliminate Rudy Gobert, and then you're gonna be playing with Cat as a guy who just came off of injury. So I mean, it's kind of tough there.
Yeah, if it's Timberwolves Warriors, Gobert's unplayable.
And Jake, you have the Warriors at the 6. Or are you legit? You buy into it, or are you just saying that? Like, I know we did our World Series predictions. Are you just being biased, or are you doing?
I said I was being biased.
Okay.
I got.
It's tough. I mean, it's tough because it can go either way. Honestly, with all these 5 teams.
I don't have it as Phoenix and Pelicans. I think it'll be the Kings. Phoenix.
Kings.
I don't know.
Kings Thunder. That'd be a fun series if they.
That'd be amazing.
But that's the thing is, though, the Thunder are right there too. I know the Thunder are on a little bit of a slide. They've got Shea with his injuries and all that stuff. But I think that with the Thunder, if the Wolves lose out, or if they have a couple of, lose 2 or whatever, I think the Thunder can slide into that 2 or even 1 seed, just depending on how it shakes out, what happens with the Nuggets. Because if the Nuggets lose a couple of games, it makes it a little bit tough too. So that's the thing about the seeding right now in the West. We don't know what that top 3 is going to be.
Well, I mean, outside the Timberwolves Nuggets game, the Nuggets play the Spurs and the Grizzlies.
Yeah, but one of Wemby's last games.
Yeah, I can see Spurs maybe upsetting them, but I don't think Memphis will.
No, honestly, Memphis has been a tough team this year.
Tomorrow night's Pelicans Kings match might decide it.
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, like if say Warriors lose a game, or one of those teams that we need to, like if Pelicans win, then that game honestly doesn't mean much to Warriors. And then that last game of the season, Pelicans Warriors, I could see Lakers. Pelicans Lakers. I'm sorry. That last game of the season, I could see Lakers benching everybody. Yep. That game is going to mean nothing to them too.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see a series that I think we're all pretty much in consensus is going to happen which is the Clippers and the Mavericks. Like,
oh my gosh, yeah.
that is going to be a series, and you got to wonder, is this the end of an era or a time frame for either one of these teams? Because the Mavericks are looking good right now. I mean, they're out here, they're blowing out Miami. They've been really good in the last 10. I mean, they're playing great ball right now. But if the Mavericks lose to the Clippers, does Kyrie walk during the offseason? And if the Clippers win, or if the Clippers lose, you got to think PG's on his way out. I think that there's been rumblings about PG maybe going to the 76ers. So are we going to see a change?
Oh, that'd be nasty.
That would
blown up?
That would be, yeah. I would think that might make me think that Joel Embiid and Paul George could finally get over the hump if they're healthy. Because that'd be. And speak of the Sixers, then Joel Embiid's been back. And Alan, you were talking about winning percentages with the Lakers, right? 66% win percentage if they play that certain lineup. Before Joel Embiid got hurt, they had the second best record in the NBA with him as a starting the lineup. And since he's been back, they've been hot too. So I mean, the question honestly is, I know that now they're the 7th seed and they're fighting for the 6 and whatnot. They are 7-3 in their last 10, won 6 games straight. Is the East going to belong to Philadelphia when it's said and done?
In the playoffs, I think that the problem is that we all know Joel Embiid's his fault shortcomings in the playoffs. That's the problem. And that's why I don't really buy in too much to the Sixers regular season success, regardless of whether he was playing or when he wasn't, because for the last couple of years, even with him winning the MVP last year, the last couple of years, it's been about, hey, what are you going to do in the playoffs? Are you even going to make it to an Eastern Conference Finals? Right? They're gonna say he's the best player in the league. He's up there with Jokic and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, what are you gonna do in the playoffs? And that's where I don't know, man. We could buy into it all we want, but it's time for him to put up or shut up. And if the Sixers make it to the 6th seed, right? The Pacers are only a half game ahead of them, or I'm sorry, 1 game ahead of them. If the Sixers make it to the 6th seed and then have to go up against New York Knicks, I don't know if they can beat the Knicks. Like, without Julius Randle, I don't know. This boy Brunson has been balling, man.
Balling
year long.
Under the radar, just 40 points a game, balling, man.
This guy is crazy, man. He's just going out here and he's putting on shows, putting teams away by himself. Like, he's out here going up against super teams and putting them away.
I know, by himself.
Well, the Knicks have a big game, and the Knicks have a big game tomorrow too against the Celtics. So we'll see kind of what kind of mood they're in going into the playoffs.
My thing with the Sixers, I have zero faith in the Sixers. I'm gonna be honest. And it's time that people realize, or start looking at the Sixers and realizing that maybe it's not going to work with Embiid. The team, the owners keep giving them help, right? We had Butler, we had Harden. They keep surrounding them with stars, and they're doing nothing with it. It might be time that Embiid might need to go. I mean, we keep saying, "Oh, the Sixers going to do it this year." No, they're not. I mean, and I don't think this roster is any better than the one that they had in the last few years. And I don't think they're going to do it.
Man, what a crazy team it would be if, let's say, Kyrie walks in the offseason and we get a crazy pairing. If the Sixers blow it up, they want to start over, and we get Luka with Embiid in Dallas, man. Like, that would, I know it's far-fetched, I know that's crazy, but I think that it sounds that could be a crazy team, because again, I kind of look at both of those two guys in a very parallel situation. Year in and year out, those teams are getting roster overhauls. They're going out and getting guys. They've been aggressive. They're getting players for these guys, and they just don't seem to get very far in the playoffs. I mean, obviously, Luka made it to the Western Conference Finals. We're not going to take that away from him. But I mean, outside of that season, what has really transpired with the Mavericks, especially as aggressive as they have been. So I think that's a crazy one right there. Could Joel Embiid end up on the Mavericks? That would be insane to me.
You know where I want him to go? What you brought up a minute ago. I want him to go with Jalen Brunson. Give me Embiid in New York with that roster they have right now, I think it'd be nasty.
There
I'm
was
not gonna lie.
rumblings of it, but
I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't mind him putting Bam at the 4 and putting him at the 5 when we're in the Miami. Pair him with Bam Bam and Jimmy Butler and Hero.
I mean, they tried the Butler Embiid experiment,
but this is not the same. But
Yeah.
this Miami team they're
don't
more
know.
dogs. They're more dangerous than the Sixers were back. in
they
the day,
are.
let's
But
be
I
honest.
wonder if Embiid could play in a structured team the way that
a well-coached
Spo
team
plays,
Mhm.
like the
Yeah,
way
'cause-
that Spo is.
Because if he goes to any team, like we named all the teams we named, New York, Dallas, and
New York would
Miami,
be
it's
nasty.
definitely it'd be nasty. But Miami's probably the more organized, better coached team. So how
I
would you do is
I could never see the Sixers dealing with the Heat. And I could also never see the Sixers dealing within the division to the Knicks too. So
I
I mean,
know.
those are
It'd be-
really, really tough
Yeah.
situations.
Dallas makes more sense to be honest. I mean, if you're going based on that logic, yeah, Dallas would make more sense. But how much is his contract still? Like, we have to trade him, I'm assuming. I mean, I haven't looked at Joel Embiid's contracts. I didn't think we are gonna talk about trading him anytime soon. But I'm assuming he's under still probably a few years.
That was me because I've lost complete faith in them. And they keep supplying stars, and he's just doing nothing with it.
I mean, yeah, I agree. Like, it's just I just don't know if Philly will give up because they were so bad for so many years. I get it, the process didn't work out, but they don't want to go back to.
But it's not a full rebuild. You're going to get talent for Embiid.
I mean, you do have Maxey, I guess, too. I mean,
you're going to get a lot of talent for Embiid.
Maxey's balling, so I guess you can build around Maxey and then whoever you get the talent, and then the draft picks too, probably.
Yeah,
that don't really mean much, but
no,
I guess that's definitely gonna be a summer conversation.
Absolutely, and I think it should be.
Speaking of teams in trouble,
if they don't win.
Speaking of teams in trouble, I mean, we are already kind of shaking on the Milwaukee Bucks. And last night, Giannis went down with a non-contact injury, and it was a left calf strain. Looked similar to Kevin Durant when he was on the Warriors. Jake, you remember that? And then they brought him back, and he tore his Achilles. So the question is, are the Milwaukee Bucks going to bring him back too soon? Or are they going to do something the Warriors did with Durant and potentially risk him? Because it looked like it went from one part of the leg to it's going to keep going down. And is it worth him tearing his Achilles potentially if he's not fully healthy?
Well, they announced that he's shut down for the next 3 games. So they're shutting him down for the regular season. Are they going to bring him back too early and then bring him in the first round? 100% they're going to bring him back in the first round because that's Milwaukee team's not going to win with him, and they're damn sure not going to win without him.
Yeah. When you look at it, I mean, there's a lot of good teams that are in that play-in right now. I don't think that the Bulls or the Hawks could challenge them, but I think if you run into a situation where you get the Heat or the Sixers in the first round,
he's back.
That's tough, man. I don't think the Bucks can beat the Sixers without Giannis. That's not happening. So he's got to come back. You've got to rest him, give him some time, work it aggressively every single day. I mean, you talk about what the Warriors did. They did the same thing with Kevin Durant. They were very aggressive trying to bring him back, and maybe it does end up in a situation. I think really for everybody, when you watch it, and because it was non-contact, it was something that really jumped out to everybody, and that's what the problem was. But in retrospect, how bad is it really? We just don't know. The other thing is with Giannis, he's kind of a locomotive, so he's going for the paint, right? He's not necessarily switching up. He's not taking cuts and making jump shots like Kevin Durant. So he's not doing the stop-start things really fast, all that. Maybe, that's not something you have to worry about with Giannis, but get him down low in the paint and he's gonna beat up some of these other teams. Yeah, I think that's something that can happen.
I just don't. I mean, as a fan, especially you guys are more diehard fans than I am. It would suck to see Giannis out 12 to 18 months with Achilles tear.
Oh, absolutely. Nobody wants an injury. Absolutely.
It'd just be so bad for the game, and it would be bad for the Bucks too. Because then if he gets hurt Achilles tear this year, he's out next year.
100%. He's gone for the entire year, and then you're still speculating what he's going to be like the year after that when he comes back. Is he going to be fully healthy?
Because Giannis has been in the league for a good minute. It's not like he's not like he just came in the league 3-4 years ago. He's been in the league a decade now, something like that. He's been in a long time. So I mean,
but that's where I think that. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, I agree with what Alan said. Like I think depending on who they're playing, for sure. Like they're not gonna beat the Heat. They're not gonna stuff like that. But I don't think it's as serious as everyone's leading it on to be, because obviously it was non-contact, so we're all freaking out. We're all scarred from non-contact ACLs in the NFL. Every time you hear non-contact, you panic. So we honestly don't even know how bad it really is. It's not going to hurt them for him not to play the next 3 games. They were going to probably lose anyway. But yeah, we just hear non-contact and we freak out. So I mean, it could honestly be not that serious. It could be like a day-to-day thing. But me included, I hear non-contact, I instantly think Achilles. I think he's done. Season over.
Oh yeah, that's the first thing you put in the chat last night. You're like, Achilles tear? A question mark?
Right.
I was like, holy shit.
Because he inbounded and was run down the court and just fell, like not instantly, like
grabbing his leg. Yeah,
we all instantly think the worst. Like non-contact at NFL, literally 10 out of 10 times, season's over. Like I'm scarred, but it could be nothing.
Yeah, it could be nothing. We just want to talk about it real quick, just because it's Giannis. He's arguably one of the faces of the league, so you have to give him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, another thing that we also have to look at too is, like, you compared it to the Kevin Durant situation. Kevin Durant was, I think, a lot farther into his career. He's a little bit older at that point when that injury did happen. And Giannis is one of the most athletic freaks that we've ever seen in the entire league. Like he's Kevin Durant, but add 50 to 60 pounds, and he's still faster than Kevin Durant. So
and he's not a snake.
And he's not. Okay. All right.
Coming from the Warriors fan.
Here comes the Warriors fan with the shots.
His favorite animal was a snake for a couple of years, you know what I mean? For at least those 2 seasons.
Those dagger threes in the playoffs. I'm good with those.
Yeah.
But no, boys. Let's come to the part of the show where we finally give the MVP predictions. Now we can do it who we think should win or who is going to win. I mean, I think Joker's going to win.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you both. Obviously, I'll give you my list. Not that I don't think they're gonna win, but that's my list of who I have as MVP.
I mean, if you're asking me, it should be Luka. I think Luka should be the MVP. He's averaging damn near the same kind of stats. He's actually averaging more points than Joker, but he's also averaging 9.2 rebounds and 9.8 assists. He's averaging damn near triple-double. Yes, I get the Mavericks are the 5 seed compared to the Nuggets, who will be the 1 or 2 or even the 3. It depends on what happens. But Luka, to me, is the MVP, but I think it's going to go to Joker. Just because he actually is averaging a triple-double. So I'm gonna go Joker, but I think it should be Luka. Okay,
so who's gonna win MVP? Jokic. Blah 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 blah. Boring. Okay. So my MVPs. Obviously, I have Jokic winning. I have Jalen Brunson from the New York Knicks, and I have Anthony Davis from the Lakers.
I couldn't hear you. Repeat that last one more time.
And I got Anthony Davis.
There we go.
Those are my 3. Obviously, Jokic. I have Jokic winning the MVP. But it's the most valuable player. And if you take Brunson off the Knicks, they are dead last in the East. I mean, they would be absolutely horrible. He's doing it. OG, who they traded for, has been out hurt. Randall's been out hurt for months. Now he's out for the season. And the Knicks have a chance to be the 3 seed.
Or 2.
Or
possibly
2.
the 2 seed,
They're 1 game out from the 2 seed.
They've had nothing but injuries. Injury. Bogdanovich is a terrible fit. He's done nothing with the Knicks. Brunson is just balling. Like the award is the most valuable player. Someone that team could not do without. Knicks would be nothing without Jalen Brunson. I mean, look at this. 45 points, 43 points, 35, 35, 30, 61. I mean, dude is balling. And they would be nowhere without him. And then obviously we've heard Alan all year. Anthony Davis is on fire. I mean, if it was a different season, I think AD would have it. Or if he wasn't playing with LeBron. But
if he wasn't to play in. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, but that's annoying too. Like, yeah, I mean, yes.
But that's unfortunately they do punish.
Unfortunately, absolutely, I agree. But AD is balling, man, and everyone said this dude can't stay healthy, me included. He's been healthy all year. I mean,
Mhm.
he's had little nicks and whatever here, but everyone has that. But the dude has been
He's been
healthy all year.
he's been playing through it.
dominating.
But see,
Yeah.
but that's why I have Luka though, man. Like, because like you said, you named all those points: 39, 37, 25, 30, 47. Yeah, not 61-point game, but you take Luka off the Mavericks. I
Yeah.
get that Kyrie, but
That's where I'm at too. But you know what I would also say is, like you said, Jokic is averaging a triple double.
he's one assist shy.
He's one assist shy. He's one a shit shy, but
yeah,
he's one
but
assist
he's
shy.
got the best overall numbers overall. He's
I don't think
with
so.
Luka.
I don't think so. I think Luka has the better numbers overall because Luka's averaging 20. Averaging 8 more points basically. Jokic is averaging 26.4. Luka's averaging 33.9. So he's right at 34 points. He's at 9.2.
But Jokic plays defense.
We'll go there. I mean, we'll go there. But I'll also say that when it comes to Luka, again, like Mark was just alluding to, if you take him off that team, like I don't know what the return value is for another player to step into that team and turn it into in the West. This is just how insane the West is. All right. Last year, the Lakers record, I talked on this the last time, but the Lakers record makes them the 4 seed last year. And look at all of the teams that are, every single team in the top 10 is 7, 8, 9 games above 500. Like it's so tough in the West. And then you pair that with how good Luka has been all year long. Like, I think if you look at how absolutely tough the West has been, and then you say, if you take Luka off that team, what are the Mavericks? I don't know if the Mavericks with Kyrie and not Luka, maybe a subpar version of Luka, and you have him on that team, they're not even in the top 10 in the West. They're probably somewhere close to the 13 or the 14 seed in the West. And that's with Kyrie on the team. And so I think that's where you have to draw the line and say, I think Luka probably should win this award. Is he going to win the award? Probably not, because Jokic has the PER stats that everybody in that does the voting and all that shit loves so much. Like Luka's not all the way up there the way that Jokic is because of the defensive stats and all that. But Luka definitely deserves it. I'll shout out to, like you said, with Jalen Brunson, man. Again, you take him off that team, they're not even in the top 10. And he's pushing for a 2 seed with guys that are injured all around him, and they're still winning. This guy's out here just willing this team to win just by being himself. Who saw this? Imagine if Brunson was still on the Mavericks. Like, imagine he was on the team.
Who could even name the Knicks starting 5?
But the thing though is, what's funny
what
is we were all saying that the Mavericks shouldn't have paid Brunson that money neither, because we didn't know it was an unknown, because it was a couple month stretch, and then everyone was shit on for going the Knicks. So
this is on record. Alan has taken an international player for MVP.
I am taking Luka, but I'm gonna preface it with saying that this is the year he's got to go into the playoffs and do something. I mean, you can't go into the playoffs playing this fucking good and shit the bed. I think they've got to go into the first round, and they got to beat the Clippers in 5 games. Like, this is the as well as they have been playing with injuries. Whoever is going to play with the Clippers, we don't know. But I think the Mavericks got to come out and they got to win in 5 games. They got to put that series away early and quick. We know Luka can do it. He's done it before, where he's just putting teams to bed in the playoffs. He's knocked down dagger threes and all that. But I think he's got to do that because they're going to play up against the 1 seed, whoever that is. Well, the 1 or 8 seed, depending on who.
But winning just the first round is not enough.
It's not. You got to get it. You got to at least get into the Western Conference Finals.
The last time they made the playoffs, it's where they went. But yeah, I mean, honestly though, if you take any of these guys off their teams, the teams are going to struggle. Even if you take Jokic off the Nuggets, they're going to struggle. Same thing with the Knicks, the Mavericks.
Of course we could say that, absolutely. But if you take Brunson off the Knicks, you take Jokic off the Nuggets, Nuggets blow out the Knicks.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah.
agree. If you take all three of our candidates there, yes, the Knicks struggle more than the Mavericks and Nuggets. I'll give you that. I will honestly say that's true. Yeah,
But
that's
Brunson's under the radar. He'll never even get credit. He will never get talked
He
about
won't.
or
He won't.
nothing.
and it's crazy because
So,
he's in the he's in the biggest he's in one of the biggest sports markets in the
But
country, and he doesn't even get
could
the love.
here's the question. I know we didn't want to get into all of the awards because we really talked that before, but could Brunson win most improved player?
No, that's gonna be Maxey. I think Maxey's gonna win that one.
Man, I don't know. I think that you've got a real conversation when it comes to Brunson right now because
I
again, like you
agree.
guys said, nobody knew this was coming. Nobody knew this is the guy. And the thing about being in that bigger market is you get more share when it comes to those votes. And also there's guys that get into these spots and they shrink, right? You go to these great cities and you shrink under the lights.
Actually, no.
Rarely do we ever see the guy who goes to the bright lights chooses to go to the bright lights and outperforms his expectations. How many times have we seen that?
I don't think he's going to get it because remember he was a New York Knick last year, so it's not his first year with New York. So he was
most improved player. So most improved player from last year to this year.
But he's not improving that much. He's only improving 4 points a game. Almost 5. Yeah, lower 4 points, 4.4 points a game.
But you got to look at the story, the total story. What did Maxey do without Embiid?
But Maxey's also the number 2 player on the team compared to number 3 last year, and his points, his numbers are just as good as Brunson's.
No, but here's the thing.
You have to look at both seasons last year, though.
What did the team do without Embiid? Because to me, that's the difference.
But most improved is the stats. Most improved is a stats award, though.
I don't think it's in a stats award because winning is also a stat. Winning is also a stat that is the most important stat. Out of everything in the league, winning is the most important stat. And when you look at what Brunson has done without his guys, even when they had the other guys at the beginning of the season, when they still had Quickly and they still had RJ Barrett, right? He was still putting up numbers. He was still carrying that team by himself. When Randall was healthy, it wasn't Randall you were stopping. It was Jalen Brunson. He was taking over. Mm-hmm. And now after Randall goes out and you traded those guys to get OG Anunoby, who's been playing great, but then he goes down with an injury and you're still fighting for that 2 seed. Like, I think that is the bigger difference when it comes to this argument when we're talking about most improved player, because Jalen Brunson took a team that now is competing at such a high level, all because of him. If we're not going to give him the MVP, which I think he should be in that conversation, he's not going to be, but I think this is the only opportunity that he's ever going to have the most improved player opportunity. And I don't think that Maxey has deserved it at the end of the day.
I agree. I agree. I don't have Maxey as it, but most improved, obviously that award, it's so tough because like there's a lot of players deserving, and we never know the exact criteria of what they're exactly looking at. Like, I mean, because we can even bring up someone who I have 4 on my MVP list, Sabonis. No one talks about this guy either. And this dude is averaging a double-double. He's got the most triple-doubles in the league. This dude is absolutely balling.
So
I mean,
the only thing though that's going to kill Brunson, in my opinion, like I said, is going to be the stats, or from last year to this year. And then they last year were 47 and 35. The Knicks were.
What's
47.
What's the bonus from last year?
Well, I'd have to look at Sabonis's, but I don't think Sabonis is going to get it because unfortunately he's not a big name compared to a guy like Maxey.
Oh, and I agree, but I'm just saying that's why I'm saying I don't know what exactly they look for in that award because like Sabonis, I mean, I think he's doing better than obviously last year. I mean, the dude's one of the best in the league right now.
So
but he's not getting talked about.
The only thing though it's going to kill
Maxey
Brunson.
Was good last year.
He was good, but he only averaged 20 points a game compared to 25, like 0.9 or something like that. So he's got up statistically better than what Brunson did last year. And the only thing that's going to hurt maybe Maxey is they're going to go down a little bit in wins compared to the Knicks going a few games compared to last year. But Maxey was the 3 last year to the 2. It just depends on what they look at because remember the Knicks, they were the 5 seed last year. It's not like they just got fucking, barely got into playoffs. They were a Middle East team. Yeah, they're the top, maybe the 2nd or 3rd best team in the East now. But I think it's going to be the stats thing. I think that's what's going to carry Maxey. Even though Brunson should probably get it, it's going to probably go to Maxey, in my opinion, based on the criteria of stats.
Give me Brunson over Max any day right now.
Oh yeah, I would
Any
give it to him.
day.
I would give it to him. Yeah, I mean, but I just think that's where it's at. But speaking of giving players, boys, it's kind of our last topic of the day. Bronny James Jr. announced he was going to enter the transfer portal, and then obviously with the new transfer portal or the new NBA and college basketball rules, I don't know if you get drafted second round, you don't like your pick, you can go back. But if you don't get drafted at all, you can go back to college. So the question is, what's going to happen with Bronny James Jr. coming into this year's draft class? A weak draft class, by the way.
Let's be honest. It's not a question. Someone's going to freaking draft him with his averaging 4 points. I'm already reading reports of executives saying, "Oh, well, he has NBA-style defense." They're already making up excuses and stuff, saying he's better than he is. He's going to get drafted. But as we spoke about earlier, like I love the thought and the scenario of Paul Pierce can't stand Boston, but that story of LeBron going back to Cleveland, them drafting Bronny, having a farewell tour, like that's as a dad, him back in Cleveland, finishing it there with his son. That story would be absolutely amazing.
And you would find a way every single day to shit on it.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Well, I'm not saying I want it. I'm just being realistic. Like if I had that opportunity, like if I was from, I'm from Oakland. So if I was in Oakland, I had a chance to play for the Warriors and finish my career there with my son getting drafted. Like that's bucket list goals. Like you've made it right there. Like that would be absolutely amazing story. I don't know if it could happen or how it could happen, but a team's going to draft him, especially with the way he's been saying, I want to play with my son. So, I mean, if you draft him, you think you're getting LeBron James. A team's going to do it. So he's getting drafted. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, for that story, like as in like LeBron getting a farewell, because obviously he's going to get a farewell tour very shortly. And rightfully, he deserves it. I don't care how you feel. I don't care if you feel how you feel about LeBron James, if you hate the man or not. He deserves his flowers. He deserves a tour like the Kobe's, like all the other greats I've gotten it. He deserves it.
Oh, he'll get it. He'll get it 100%.
And to see if he does it with his son along his side, like Ken Griffey Jr. did with Ken Griffey Sr., those two play together, father, son. That's magical. It's a great time.
Oh, man, you throw alley-oop. You throw alley-oop to your son, like
here's the problem though. Here's
one of your father.
Though.
I mean,
here's the problem. Bronny James Jr. is nowhere close to fucking Ken Griffey Jr. Okay, all right. Ken Griffey Jr. was a fucking all-time great. It's not a comparison. Let's not do that.
Bronny ain't even comparable. Bronny ain't even comparable with Senior. He ain't even compared to Ken Griffey Sr.
No,
I would draft Ken Griffey Sr. right now over Bronny. Let's be real.
All right, well, chill. I wouldn't do all that now, but. No, I mean, as a moment though, with like you said, as a feel good story for the NBA and for LeBron James and the family, I think that'd be cool. Do we see it? I mean, does a team really want to sacrifice having LeBron James, who does need some work on? A lot of people will think, I think the same thing, for maybe a year or two with LeBron James.
I mean, in the second round,
question.
What if Lakers do it?
Here's my question. Are we absolutely certain that LeBron James is actually going to leave the Lakers just to go play with wherever Bronny James gets drafted? I mean, there's a very big possibility that LeBron James lives and loves his life in LA and just is using this as an opportunity to leverage teams into drafting Bronny James. And they draft him and he stays right there in LA because he can always spend time.
Clippers can get them. They're an LA team.
What is the purpose? What is the need for that? I don't know, man.
Finally get LeBron and Kyrie or Kawhi.
Like if I wasn't getting LeBron James, why draft him? The kid is not good. Like I'm sorry, like he's not good, and they all know it. Like he kept himself in the portal. Like he knows if he has a chance of not going drafted, so he can go back to college. But I mean, even that ship's kind of sailed. Like.
It does suck that like being an all-time great kid, because you have so much, like we talk about pressure, like that's a lot of pressure, honestly. It really is.
But there's a lot of stars who came and their dads were stars and they were good. Like let's not make excuses.
The dude averaged.
No, I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying it sucks because like
let's not forget about Steph Curry. I mean,
yeah, but Del Curry ain't nowhere on the stratosphere of LeBron James.
No, I'm not comparing him to
Like,
that, but I'm just saying.
I'm saying like
you
the
got
Michael
guys that
Jordans,
are
LeBron James, like guys like that, like to that
who,
magnitude.
when have we ever seen that?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Guy
I'm saying I feel bad for those
caliber.
kids that like grow
Why?
up to. I mean, because like
Well, first of
we're
all,
gonna eat
Bronny,
Bronny James Jr. alive because he's trying to play ball, but we're gonna nitpick this kid more than any college basketball player in the
no,
nation.
he's getting fair criticism. Actually, he's getting unfair,
He's getting
praise in this
getting more
Yeah,
than
exactly. Other way
because
around.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's getting unfair praise because there's no reason why he should be drafted. He's averaging 4 points. He's only averaging what two assists and maybe 2 rebounds. Like, I mean, he's just not a good basketball player for the NBA. He's not NBA ready. But yet we're talking about him getting drafted because of his father. He's getting unfair praise for his
Correct.
ability to get into the league.
Mhm.
And you talk about guys that got unfair treatment. I just don't. I think right now he's getting unfair praise for what he's doing.
Yep.
And he doesn't deserve to be in the league. There's so many guys out there. You know what Bronny James is to me? Bronny James is the Tim Tebow of fucking basketball right now. He does not deserve a shot. Does not deserve a shot in the league, and he's gonna get that. He's gonna get multiple times.
Tebow deserved more of a shot because of how good he was in college. That was the difference.
But not as a quarterback.
I agree with Alan to an extent with the whole Tebow take. Like, obviously Tebow getting drafted because of what he did in college, but Tebow's still advancing after playing in the NFL at being garbage. That was he got.
Oh yeah, that's the problem.
And then Tebow got a chance at baseball.
But the thing, Jake, boys, actually, Tebow after the Broncos didn't get chances to be a starting quarterback in the league. After that, he was done as a starting quarterback. He didn't start.
Yeah, but he still got chances that he shouldn't have got.
Backups as a backup, yeah, as a backup quarterback, he did.
All right.
He didn't start with the Jets. He didn't start with the Eagles.
What was Tebow doing in baseball?
Oh well, that was. I agree with you that he should have. That's like Michael Jordan going to baseball. He shouldn't have been in baseball.
Yeah, see, but I agree 100%. He's getting too much praise because if this was anyone besides LeBron James' son, you're not getting a chance to go to the draft. We're not talking about you. You're riding the bench because you're scoring 4 points a game in college basketball. Let's be honest. I mean, he's not NBA level on any point. He's probably going to get drafted when he shouldn't. He's getting way too much praise for doing absolutely nothing. And it's honestly, it's LeBron's fault for saying, "Oh, the Lakers could use a guy like my son right now." Like, no, they.
You got a guy on the bench right now. You got a guy named Max fucking Christie who's on the bench, who's your best fucking 3-point shooter, who's not your best 3-point defender, and is a 3-point shooter, right? You got a guy on the bench right now. But because his last name ain't James, you're not gonna give him a chance? Like fucking Darvin Ham, get me out of here. All right, put a
boys,
great pork pig.
Great episode. Dude, basketball, like I said, it's gonna be fun next week. Basketball talk's gonna be during the play-in time, and then we're gonna have playoff talk, and it's just gonna keep getting better and better and even more better than it already is.
Playoff episodes are gonna be great.
Oh yeah, we might be doing 2 a week. We might have to.
I was gonna say if we're available, I think 2 a week might be for sure.
We might have to do like a Saturday night and like a Wednesday night, or meet every 3 or 4 days. Obviously, it's 7 days a week, but 3 or 4 days.
For all them basketball heads out there taking shots, all right, and I gotta take more shots at you guys. Everybody knows in the NBA, the postseason and the regular season are 2 different games. It's Absolutely. 2 different games, and you can really lock in on guys, take people out of games. You can take people out of series. Like, again, we were talking about it earlier with Gobert. We know Gobert's going to get written out of a series because he's been written out of every series he's ever been in the playoffs. They take him off the court in 5 minutes or less because he's a liability. It's just how basketball is. So when you guys want to sit here and talk about we don't know basketball, listen, we got just as much knowledge as anybody else that's out there watching. We get up here and we give our takes because we know what basketball is. Just like anybody else can come on here and rap it with us if they want to. But I guarantee you I'm going down swinging.
And speaking of you old basketball heads, please follow us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, All About the Balls podcast. Like I said, it's not hard to miss. It's a football with a basketball and a baseball. And then please follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the Sack House, All About the Balls podcast. TikTok too, at the _Sack House, All About the Balls podcast as well. Jake, one last thing before we get off here. You were about to say
Yeah,
something.
absolutely. I mean, I was gonna say, yeah, you guys don't like something we say, or don't agree with it, or you want us to talk about something, reach out, hit us up. I mean, I definitely want some knowledge on any of the sports. Coach me. I'm willing to talk to you about anything. Or you want something brought up that we didn't bring up, hit us up. Absolutely. All the handles that Mark just mentioned, definitely.
Please, like I said, reach out, and also stay tuned. We have a lot more episodes coming out. I know we're about to do a baseball recording with myself and Doc, and then we have some live episodes coming up shortly. More basketball, more baseball. We're going to have some fun bullshit live episodes like we just did Monday night. Please pay attention to that. I'm Mark Davis. That's Jake Winnicott, and that's Alan Tomasello. This is All About the Balls podcast, and we, of course, are out. Thank you for checking out another episode of All About the Balls podcast. We want to thank all of our listeners and supporters of the Sack House. You can listen to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe and give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram at The Sack House.